And now broadcasting from the EFX Sports Studio, it's ESPN EFX Sports Radio with Dr. Jeff Golini.
Well, welcome to another episode of EFX Sports Radio. My name is Dr. Jeff Golini, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Brian Andrews.
Yes, and to quote the great Ric Flair, I got one word.
Woo! My buddy Ric Flair. Hey, well, we got an awesome show today. I've got our good friend, Mr. Eric Broser. Eric is, I could just go on without even Eric talking. He has accomplished so many things, not only as a natural athlete, but as a businessman, as a trainer, and the list just goes on and on and on. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Well, I think our listeners are just going to be intrigued about you because I always am. I'm always amazed at, each new level or each new person that you come across that you're working with. But I thought it'd be fun if you just kind of told us, who is Eric Broser? What is your history in this industry?
Do we have a few hours?
Yeah, sure, man.
Well, we'll try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. I mean, my history really began, really the first moment that I, saw a muscular person or saw a cartoon character that, like the Incredible Hulk, because I always was fascinated by, muscular bodies and muscles and strength and that kind of a thing. And I myself was not a muscular kid. I was a very, very skinny kid, painfully skinny actually. And, I always just admired, strength and power and size. And, I started working out at age 16 with my best friend Mitchell, and he was overweight and I was underweight, and we fell in love with it right away as soon as we started working out. And really, I just went into it just because I wanted to be a bigger guy, and I wanted to be, protect myself. I was picked on in school a lot and bullied, and I did some martial arts and stuff, but I still didn't feel confident in myself. So started working out with the weights, and got bigger and stronger. And then I, started to, read the magazines and see, on ESPN and different networks, bodybuilding competitions. And I started to become more interested in the, the sport or the art or both of bodybuilding. And I decided I wanted to try to sculpt myself and, into, a living work of art, and started competing at age 20. Didn't take me too long I won my first competition, which was my second try.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, I won my pro card in drug-free natural bodybuilding. And from there, I started to teach others. I had a talent for, personal training, and I was, of course, I took a lot of coursework in university on anatomy, physiology, kinesiology, psychology, and I also started earning certifications. And, I just felt like, the direction I wanted to go in life was teaching people about physical fitness and building their bodies, building their minds. And so I started personal training, and then I started doing a little coaching for people going into competitions. And that slowly evolved into, I started to submit articles to magazines, and they started to pick those up, so I started to become a writer. And then a few years later, I opened up a gym, so I became a gym owner. I learned that part of the business, and had about 12 trainers working under me. And after that got boring to me, I got into the supplement industry. I got recruited by a company called VPX and moved out to Florida, and that kind of brought me into a whole different side of the industry, because then I started attending expos like the Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic, and getting more into the supplement industry side and learning more about that. And meeting more people and gaining more contacts, and just slowly but surely every year or so, I didn't really necessarily have like a plan or a goal in terms of where I wanted to go. I just wanted to evolve, and my career just evolved, over time, and I became an author, and I've written four books, and I've worked with different companies, and I became a fitness model, and I've been on the cover of Iron Man, and been in many magazines, and have thousands of articles all over the web on websites and things like that.
As I said, he's done it all.
It just kept on growing, and it keeps on growing, and I think that's because I'm hungry to keep improving myself, and I just love helping people, and now I'm 47 years old, and I'm still I'm probably in better shape now at 47 than I was at age 27, and so I'm showing people that you can continue to improve yourself. You don't have to just shut yourself down at age 40 and say, well, I'm starting to get old. I don't say, my saying is, I don't get older, I just evolve. So and I'm doing this all naturally, as you guys well know, and how difficult that is. And so I just use, training principles and nutrition and good sports supplements. And not that I I'm against guys who choose to use performance enhancing drugs, because that's their decision, and as long as they want to compete against other guys who do the same, that's their business. And I help because I work with people everywhere from natural athletes all the way up to the elite. So
Sure.
Obviously I have to have experience in that side of the sport. So I don't know. I'm just running off at the mouth because I'm trying to finish it, get everything in. But like I said, it just keeps evolving. Right now, I'm out here in California, in Marina Del Rey, and now my career is going in another direction as well. Starting to work with actors and some bigger names in the industry, and have a great show called Be Built by Broser. That's for a Muscle Insider every single week, and so great things keep happening, and I'm just blessed to have made a living out of this industry.
That's exciting.
Well, we got about 3 minutes till we hit our first break, but I wanted to ask you a quick question, Eric. You mentioned natural bodybuilding, and I know that's probably
Sure.
more near and dear to the average gym goer than the other side of it. So I know that's your specialty. You've even gained a
I don't know if you're asking me a question, but right now I can't hear anybody.
Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulty on the hearing, Brian. Can you hear me all right, Eric?
I hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, I think Brian was just saying, that, natural bodybuilding is probably what's dear to the hearts of the majority of the gym goers. And, that's kind of what you cut your teeth on. And I think it's exciting that, you have been such a motivational person, to these guys and gals to see that, one can develop a physique. And as you said, nothing against the guys that choose that route. If you're going to race top fuel, you use a top fuel car. If you're going to race, stock, you use a stock car. But I think, you have achieved a physique that even some of those guys would want to have.
Yeah, well, I have been accused, all throughout my career of, accused is, kind of a rough word, but, people will say, obviously Eric uses steroids and he lies about it, or, he somehow figures out a way to pass drug tests, or so on and so forth. And, in the beginning, I used to get angry when I would hear that kind of stuff, because I'd be like, no, I work so hard, and, and I train in a very scientific manner with principles that I've developed, and I'm very, very dedicated, and I sacrifice so much, and I'm certainly by no means a genetic freak, so you can't blame it on genetics either. So I'd get angry, but now I kind of take it as a compliment. I try to turn it around and say, listen, if these people think that, that I use steroids and growth hormone and all that kind of stuff, well, obviously I'm doing something right. So for the people out there who know me and they've been following me for all these years, and they know that I'm, drug-free, they know that I've developed this physique, slowly over time. If you look over the evolution, there was no big jumps, where I gained 50, 60 pounds, or anything like that. It's just been a slow gaining period. I get to inspire those people, like you said, and I get to teach those people and show them that you don't necessarily have to go the drug route to develop, a pretty significant physique. No, I'm not going to lie to them and say you can be Mr. Olympia, naturally, chances are, unless you're such genetic elite that it's ridiculous.
But Eric,
happen.
but even the guys that are Mr. Olympia, not natural, how many of those guys actually achieve that? I mean, so there's a lot more than just drugs and things. Well, anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna have some more conversation with Mr. Eric Brozer.
Hey everybody, I'm Billy Gordon. I'm one of the coaches for the Heights Wrestling Club. I just wanted to take a minute and talk to you about EFX Sports and what their products have done for me and my wrestlers and the athletes that I lead. 6 months ago, I got introduced to EFX Sports and I immediately started using them myself. The results have been nothing short of amazing. My body fat and weight have come down drastically. My strength has increased. If you get the opportunity, I highly recommend you give it a shot.
This is Dr. Jeff Golini of All American Pharmaceutical. I'm sure you've been seeing our national brand EFX Sports featuring carbolin and crealkaline all around the state lately. Our supplements are formulated for pros to high schoolers to just the average gym goer and are all about improving your game. You can find EFX Sports in Billings at Yellowstone Fitness, Lucky's, Bonanza's Health Food, Granite Fitness, and GNC, just to mention a few.
EFX! Do you know how to properly use carbohydrates to ignite your performance in the field and in the gym? You will now, thanks to this free book by EFX Sports. The Carb User's Guide for Maximum Performance reveals why omitting carbohydrates from your diet can totally crush your gains. Ever wonder how many grams you need for your specific sport? Not anymore. We give you the critical number you need to dominate your competition. You'll even discover the super carb that's taking the athletic world by storm. You must try it to believe it. Go to getcarbolin.com/carb guide today and get your copy absolutely free. Once again, it's GETKARBOLYN.com/CARBGUIDE.
Well, welcome back to EFX Sports Radio Show. We've got Mr. Eric Brozer here, a good friend of ours for many, many years. And I just wanted to say one thing, too. We were talking about drug testing. There was a period in time when Eric and I were working together, and we had him drug tested. So I can attest firsthand that he has not used drugs. Right, Brian?
Absolutely. Yeah, he passed with flying colors every single time. Hey, and I want to ask you, I know you're known as a renowned trainer now. You got the nickname Merlin. Who are some of the guys you're training? You're down there in the hotbed, the Mecca. So who are some of the guys you're working with or gals?
Brian, I know you want to ask me something, but again, I'm sorry, but you cut out. So,
yeah,
Jeff, you might have to ask.
I'll go ahead and translate that. A little bit of technical difficulty. He said, that he heard that you're called Merlin, and everyone down in Venice, Gold's Gym is wanting to work with you. Who are some of the men and women that you're now working with?
Well, there's some people that I'm working with that I'm not even allowed to say because of the contract that doesn't allow me to say their names. So I can't tell you, everybody, but I'll tell you a few people. I'm working with Dave Borlée, who's been, in this industry. He's known as Mad Max 6 in this industry for so many years, and he knows just about everybody. He interviews every bodybuilder. He's just, and he's so tremendously liked in this industry. And I took him on about a year ago because he was just kind of floundering as far as his competitive side was going. And I said, listen, let me turn things around for you. I think I could do a lot with your physique. So I've been working with him over the last year and completely transformed him. And he is the one who nicknamed me Merlin. And he says, that I just work magic with people's physique. So that nickname, I have to thank him for that because that's really taken off. I had no idea how popular it'd get because now people just refer to me as Merlin.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Now, like sometimes I'll even, when people will, pay me through PayPal or something. It'll say payment for Merlin instead of payment for coaching. It's
wow.
hilarious. So it's really funny. But I'm thinking I'm gonna have to brand that name. And now I actually have a license plate coming that Dave bought for me. That says Merlin 1 on it, so my car will say Merlin on it. So
yeah, you might have to
funny.
go ahead and brand that. And I know through the Muscle Insider, the show that Dave and you guys film, people, if you haven't, you got to go to muscleinsider.com. Eric does. Is it a weekly show, Eric?
It's a weekly show, yes.
Yeah, weekly show, and you can actually see Eric in the gym. Maybe some of the people he can't mention are in the videos, but I'll have to tell you, if you want to pick up some training tips or even just get motivated, you got to go watch these videos. They are unbelievable. And I know that, people really appreciate, Eric, you taking the time and going in and filming those things. And as part of your Bros Are Built, correct?
Yeah, I mean, really, I am Bros Are Built, and I shortened that to Be Built, and that's kind of my, company name. So Be Built pretty much just stands for anything and everything that I stand for in terms of how I teach and how I coach and how I mentor, and I want people to, be healthy both physically and mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and that's what I try to teach people. And we try to bring all of that to the show, Be Built by Broser, which was, again, Dave's idea. I was actually working with IFBB Pro Abbas Katami at the time that I filmed with Dave for the first time, and I was demonstrating some stuff that I do with Abbas to get him ready for his show, which was in late 2014, and Dave was so impressed with what I was talking about, what I was teaching. He thought that it was so valuable that he asked me to do this weekly show, and it's been growing like wildfire, and I love doing it. And we just do it just because we love the sport and we want to give back to it and we want to teach. And we just take the time out to do that. Nobody pays us for it, and we don't care. We just want to give back. And so I love doing that show, and I'm so glad that people are watching it and supporting it and asking me questions so that I can have more information for the show. I do a thing on Facebook called Ask Merlin Monday every single Monday, where they can come to my page and they can post a question, where they can ask, me to demonstrate something or have me talk about something on the show, and that's been exploding. So it's great. It's a great show. We love doing it.
Yeah, you got to brand that name. That does have a nice ring to it. And you're back in my old stomping grounds, man. Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, Marina Del Rey, Santa Monica. I mean, how is it these day and ages down in that area?
Well, I'm sure a lot has changed. I'm sure that, obviously a lot of faces have changed, and I think that bodybuilding has kind of changed now, in that bodybuilders are spread out, all over the country and the world now, and it used to be more concentrated in that area. But there's still, listen, I still walk in every single day, and I see Mike O'Hearn, I see Robbie Robinson, still training. I see, Charles Glass training his people. Dexter Jackson's there. Sean Roden's there. I mean, there's still a ton of professional bodybuilders there. The other day, I saw Iris Kyle there, who 10 times Miss Olympia. You still see a bunch of actors. I saw Spider-Man the other day, Tobey Maguire.
Wow.
It still has that magical feel,
right?
That it always had. I think you still see people just standing out in front taking pictures. You see tourists coming just to walk through the gym and see it. So it's still that special place. It's still the Mecca. It's just different faces now, and maybe not quite as many professional bodybuilders as there used to be, but it's still pretty electric, and it's still got the greatest equipment, and there's no doubt that when you go in there, your training goes up another level, and that's why I brought myself down to. I was living in a different part of California that was further away, but I love training at Gold so much, I relocated to Marina Del Rey, so that I'm literally 10 minutes away, and so I can cruise over there every single day, and that's where we film, most of Be Built by Broser. So, yeah, Jeff, you got to get your butt back down there for old time's sake.
I know, man. We got to have a workout, especially after Mad Max filmed Rick Valente and sent it to me. Rick gave me the business about not being back there, but Rick, if you're listening.
Yeah, I see Rick too all the time.
Yeah, I have been back there. It's just that it has been in the afternoon. I no longer hit the gym at 4 in the morning. But yeah, I definitely will have to get back. So Eric, I mean, again, folks, Eric is such an exciting person, not only personally, but what he's done professionally. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on of what he does to give back to the sports industry. Eric, what's next? Is there anything new and exciting that we can look forward to?
Well, you were talking before about, who I'm training right now. One of the people that I can name is a very exciting individual that I'm training. His name is James Preston Rogers, and he's a 6'6" monster, and he's been in, many films, many TV shows. He recently was in the movie Pixels with Adam Sandler. And he's just a big, Thor-looking kind of guy, long blonde hair. And he started, Dave introduced him to me a while back, and he basically was, he was 6'6", 248 pounds, and he was big, but, he needs to be bigger, he needs to be more formidable. And Dave was like, listen, let me introduce you to Merlin and get you where you need to be. Because he tends to go for those roles that are, gladiators or wrestlers or, bodyguards, those kinds of things. He wants to be an action hero here in LA, and he's very talented, and he's such a sweet guy from Canada. So I took him on, and in 8 weeks, I transformed him from 248 pounds to 272 pounds.
Wow.
Literally just by changing his training completely into my style of training. And also fixing his diet so that he was eating properly and feeding himself properly. So he has a movie coming out in January called The Masked Saint, where he plays a character called the Reaper. So he's like the evil wrestler, the main character, evil wrestler in the show. And so that's going to be a big movie, so we're looking forward to that. And he's working on some other very big projects right now. So our goal in terms of the Hollywood scene, which is something I'm working on pretty hard right now, is he wants to bring me in as like the main trainer for all action stars, for all action heroes, and so he's working very hard introducing me to people in that genre. And so I think a lot of great things are going to happen with that. So I'm looking forward to a walk in the red carpet with him in January.
That would be exciting. I'll be like, I know that guy. Hey, Eric, we're almost.
So and the great thing about it is he's such a terrific guy. He's no attitude, no ego.
That's great.
He just works hard, and he just wants to work on his art of acting, and this is just what he wants to do.
Nice.
And so he works very hard at it, and I'm glad that I can help him along in that genre. And like I said, he's introducing me to other people, so there's other actors in that same genre that I'll be working with soon.
Sure.
And I kind of like that because I love size, I love power, so I love working with these big giant guys who make me look small and standing next to them, and they're just 6'5", 6'6", and I can try to turn them into 290-pound monsters on screen. So
that's exciting. That's exciting. Well,
I also just started working with a company called Fit Strong, and that's a supplement company that has a lot of terrific ideas, has a great vision, and I'm very glad to be aboard with them. And
nice.
As far as myself goes, I'm also, I think I'm going to get back on stage in 2016. I think it's about, the last time I was on stage was in 2011. And I won the Ironman naturally here in California, went into retirement, but now the fire is back under my feet that I feel like I need to compete again. I feel like I'm, again, getting into the best shape of my life, working very hard. I've been training with Dave Borlée for his shows as I train him and coach him, so my body's been transforming as well. So
nice.
I want to get back on stage again. I want to show people that, you can, every few years, if I don't care, I get on stage every few years. It doesn't have to be constant. Just show people, look,
right.
47,
right.
I look better than I did at 40.
Absolutely.
At 40, I look better than 35. And just you can just keep going if you do this stuff right.
Yep, you sure
and,
can.
There's a way to do it without damaging your joints or having walking around with shoulder injuries, knee injuries, back injuries. There's a way to train to continue to make gains in muscle and size and without necessarily having to push these tremendous weights.
Sure.
So that's something that I like to teach people, especially now that I'm in my 40s and I see so many people around me who are hurting and they're injured and they can't, like the shoulder operations and this and that. It doesn't have to be like that. And then again, of course, going back to this, the sport of natural bodybuilding, the reason why we talk about natural bodybuilding a lot is because the majority of people who are in gyms aren't using drugs, because they're not trying to be elite or Mr. Olympias or Mr. Universes. They just want to look, big, strong, or whatever. They want to look like movie stars.
Right.
And, the majority don't use drugs. They just want to learn how to use supplements and training and diet to build their physique. And, they think about steroids. Should they use them? Should they not? And I'm just going to show them that they don't need to use them. It's not a necessary thing that has to be used if you want to build an elite physique. So
Right.
I'm
Well,
going to keep pushing that. I keep developing new training systems. I just developed another training system called FTX2. So that goes along with my power upper and shock and my FDFS training system and my Obey 6. So now I have 4 training systems out there. And I've been utilizing that system with Dave and making great progress. So I don't know, Jeff. I'm just going to keep going and keep pushing and, just see where it takes me. And just hopefully I just want to be remembered as somebody that gave back to the industry that gave me so much,
Well, and I really do appreciate it. Well, we're about out of time here, Eric, and I thank you so much for your friendship and for coming on the show. We definitely got to have you back because we want to hear a little bit more about some of these new ventures. So thanks again, and we'll...
Thank you for having me, Jeff and Brian. I really, really do appreciate it.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Big Eric. Merlin.
Thanks again, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to ESPN EFX Sports Radio. Be sure to check out EFX Sports online at aaefx.com. And don't forget to check out EFX Sports supplements everywhere fitness products are sold.